How did you lose your virginity? And at what age? 19. Drunk with an exchange student from Korea. She laughed at the end and there was a weird silence, so I went back to my dorm, right downstairs, but realized I didn't have my key on me and my roommate was asleep, so I went back to her room and awkwardly asked if I could stay with her. Next day she asked me to never speak of what we did. LOL. Edit, not cultural, just embarrassingly bad sex that she didn't want our friends to know about. I was 15. It was after a high school football game where some kid picked a fight with me. It wasn't a complete beatdown, but I didn't win the fight. I had just started seeing a girl and I think she felt bad for me and didn't walk away when we got back to my place, and I offered to show her the black light in my bedroom. About a minute into it I heard my sister opening the front door and we had to stop. That was more than enough time, though. Male here. Woman I had been hanging out with near constantly for about 2 months produced a condom one evening and asked, "Do you wanna fuck?" I really liked her, so we did. I was 32 years old. 21. A girl I had never met before invited herself into my bed and coaxed me into it. Which was fine. We had an almost purely sexual relationship for about a month, until I found out she was married. I think she was looking for a replacement husband. When she realized I wasn't the one, she ghosted. I was 16, dating a 25-year-old. He picked me up on my lunch break from work, Walgreens, my first job. We went back to his house, did it, then he dropped me back at work. Lunch break was 30 minutes. Had to get back on the register and act like everything was normal. Went home and cried. Never really realized how sad this sounded until typing it out, LMAO. I don't lose my virginity, I win my virginity. I currently am undefeated and have 6 of them. At 24, awkwardly to what I considered my best friend at the time. She was my assistant manager, and we talked all the time in and out of work, but she had a serious drinking problem. She was so drunk she failed to come to work and was fired. I went over to cheer her up and one thing led to another. Family Guy was playing in the background and I did not last that long, LOL. 16 to my now husband. It was good except for the condom coming off and having to get the morning after pill. At least I'll never forget. I was 17. With a girl I was dating for almost 6 months. Tried to make it classy, got a hotel room and everything. 31 to my best friend. Flew out to his state specifically so he could take my virginity. He made it a lovely experience for me, and I can't think of a better way for it to have happened, TBH. Might have liked it sooner, but hey. 22, she later became my wife. I'm honestly shocked at the number of people who lost it after 20. I felt like it was rare. Joke's on me, we really are all the same. With a good friend of mine at 14, I think. We both had fucked up childhoods and fucked up home lives, so we just explored awkward sexual stuff with each other. Friends with benefits, I guess. She was a great person. She passed away of a drug overdose 5 years later. I think about her often. 15, just a few weeks before my 16th. I wanted to lose my virginity and asked a senior on my water polo team if he would be up for the task. Invited him over one night, and had quite an incredible experience. He was gentle and consistently checking in throughout the experience to ensure I was still okay with how everything was progressing. 15 years old to the 18-year-old DJ I was dating, in the back of his red Jeep. I had zero idea of the mechanics of sex, and it happened so fast that I didn't even realize that what we did was sex until, afterwards, when he asked if I was on birth control. Fast forward a decade and I see his mugshot on the news. He was arrested for arson in 2020. We were both 17, at a friend's party, and it just happened after we snuck into a bedroom. We were each other's first, white smiling face, still together 15 years later and expecting our 3rd baby. High school sweethearts, red heart. I'm noticing a lot of 20+ adults who are still virgins here. Great lesson for any teenagers in here who feel peer pressure from their peers to have sex while still in high school. Everyone is not doing it. I was a 16-year-old closeted lesbian dating this guy I had been friends with for a while. We ended up in an empty movie theater watching Crimes of Grind dueled behind the back row of seats. I wasn't even sure it went in, I barely felt anything. 15 In her basement, she handed me a bottle of cheap white wine after her mother left for work. It was fantastic to tell you the truth, and then we were just trying to do it all the time, anywhere, oh to be young again. I was 17, I hooked up with a classmate when we were at my house together to work on homework. 13 years old, in a tent in this 17-year-old girl's backyard. Totally lied and said I was 15 and wasn't a virgin. Kinda messed up now that I think about it. 18 To my first/current BF. There's nothing wrong with still being a virgin at whatever age you are. 17, with my then girlfriend. She was on her back on the couch, me on my knees going at it like a jackhammer. I had no idea what I was doing. She was grabbing the couch cushions so hard they ripped. My whole family referred to that couch as the sex couch until they threw it away a few years later. Great times. The grooming started when I was 3, the penetrative sex didn't start until I was 6. If your child would rather kill themselves than go to church, take them seriously, please. 19, doggy style, on the floor. We didn't even undress, I lowered my pants, she lifted her skirt, I pounded her until I came. 7 a.m., roughly, with her mother sleeping on the other room. I lost it a couple of months ago. I'm 18 and I did it with my boyfriend of 3 years. It was awkward and funny. Honestly, the first time for me wasn't that great. Probably because I had high expectations from what I had seen in movies and porn. So when we were done, I was like, oh, okay. Is there something more happening? Oh, that's all. Not that I didn't like it or anything, but yes, I had already fantasized about the first time so much that when it really happened it felt really normal. I was 20, it was with my 12-year-old cousin's English teacher in Argentina. She was 25. Every time I tell this story it sounds like I'm going to say it was with my 12-year-old cousin. I gotta rephrase this shit. Any suggestions? 19 To my current BF. We had been talking for a few months at that point. He made a setup in his bedroom with pixie lights, a rose petal and candle path to his bed which was covered in more rose petals. He was gentle and caring and it was magical. I was super nervous, couldn't put it because the girl was too. Afterwards I put my pants on my head, so that was hilarious. 17y. 11 m. To one a babysitter, 23 f. Messed up situation, obviously, still don't really think about it. Never told any about, and I think it killed my sex drive. Because it's like non-existent, and as a male in today's society, that's looked down upon. So girls ultimately lose interest or people just think him gay. Honestly, I'd rather be alone than do speak up about it. But it be like that sometimes.